A very warm welcome to you all. You know, every single community, every society is looking for that blueprint for success, for resilience. But where do you find it? Well, today we're going to unpack a really powerful one, found in just 10 verses of the Qur'an. Think of it as a timeless playbook for building a strong, ethical community. And honestly, the principles in here are just as relevant now as they have ever been. So let's dive into this living guide and see what it has to say about our modern challenges. Okay, so where do we start? Every great playbook, every good strategy begins with rule number 1, the absolute fundamental you just can't skip. And for this community playbook, it all comes down to the profound and I think often underestimated act of truly listening. And right away, the language here is incredibly direct, isn't it? This is not a gentle suggestion. It's a clear, forceful command. And that last part, while you hear, that's so crucial. It basically means there's no room for selective hearing. You can't just tune in for the parts you like and ignore the rest. So, what this does is it sets up a very simple but powerful equation. It's not just about sound waves hitting your eardrums. It's about active hearing that has to translate directly into active, unified obedience. This is presented as the core principle for a community's very survival and its integrity, especially when things get tough. It's the bedrock that everything else is built on. So, if active listening is the foundation, then the playbook immediately gives us a kind of litmus test. It draws this really sharp line in the sand between simply hearing something and genuinely acting on it. It's all about separating real commitment from, just paying lip service. And this comparison just illustrates it perfectly. On one side, you've got this call to respond to what literally gives you life. This suggests that obedience isn't some heavy burden. It's the very source of vitality and health for a community. And on the other side, a really stern warning against hypocrisy. A warning against being like those people who say, yeah, we heard you, but their actions just scream the opposite. Okay, now this language is incredibly strong, but it's so important we understand the metaphor here. Deaf and dumb is not talking about a physical condition. It's a powerful description for those who willfully, intentionally plug their ears to the truth and refuse to use their intellect. They just refuse to listen and refuse to think. So what's the takeaway? It becomes this really profound civic warning. Willful ignorance isn't just a personal flaw. It's a danger to the public. When a community collectively loses its ability to hear guidance and to apply reason, it puts itself on a direct path to stagnation and eventually to total ruin. All right, so this brings us to the next critical section of the playbook. The focus kind of pivots now. We move from the individual act of listening to the collective dangers, the things that can rot a community from the inside out. These are the internal threats that we absolutely have to guard against. And the core concept here is this word fitna. Now, this is a really powerful term. It means so much more than just a trial. I want you to think of it like a social contagion, a kind of moral corruption or disorder, that once it gets started, doesn't just hurt the people who began it. No, it spreads. It can infect and damage the entire community. And to make this crystal clear, the text uses this brilliant public health analogy. Moral corruption is treated just like a disease. You have to stop it early, you have to contain it. Because if you just ignore it and let it fester, it will infect the entire system, the whole body politic, and it will end up harming everyone. So the big question is, how does a community build up its immunity to this social virus? Well, the playbook offers 3 key preventative measures. First, a non-negotiable rule: do not betray trusts. That means both our duties to God and our public responsibilities to each other. Second, a call to remember where you came from, to be grateful for past blessings, because that gratitude strengthens your resolve today. And third, a total reframing of what success looks like, seeing wealth and even your family not as the end goal, but as tests of your character and your ultimate priorities. And this leads to such a powerful image. It basically says that being faithful to trust, keeping your word, being honest, is like the very skeleton that holds the entire community together. Whether that's how you manage public money or how you conduct politics, if you break those bones, the whole structure just collapses. So, after all these pretty serious warnings about what can go wrong, the playbook moves to its incredible, inspiring conclusion. It reveals the profound reward, the ultimate promise for a community that actually sticks to these principles of integrity and mindfulness. And that reward is something called furqan, Now get this, it's not wealth, it's not power, it's the priceless divine gift of a criterion, a kind of moral compass, a clarity of vision that lets you distinguish right from wrong, especially when things are confusing and the path isn't clear. And here's the crucial link. The inner work of what's called taqwa, this deep mindfulness and awareness of God, it's not just some private spiritual thing you do by yourself. The playbook argues that it directly leads to a clearer, more just public life and better decisions for absolutely everyone. And this whole section really culminates in this powerful, deeply reassuring verse. It acknowledges that yes, there will be forces that scheme against you. Human plots and conspiracies are a real thing, but then it gives this ultimate assurance that a divine plan is always at work, and it supersedes any human scheme. It's a call to be steadfast and to have trust. And that really leaves us with this final thought to ponder. This playbook, with its focus on listening, on integrity, on mindfulness, it offers us a clear path forward. So the question for us today is this. In our own world, which is so full of noise, complex pressures, and competing plans, where do we find our criterion, our moral compass, to guide us toward the right action?